Hi guys, James here. Welcome to Tibaldi Goes Modelworks, and this is part 3 of the Airfix Stalwart build. So it's steps 72 through to, I believe it's nearly 100. So hopefully we'll get her built. So it might well be a bit bitty. So obviously I've done step 72. I put those bits on and put these bits, addressed these bits. Obviously I've addressed me massive grate gap on this corner. Caused through that issue, a little bit of a fit issue there. I've got some Mr. Surfacer in there drying 500s, and Nigel has on his sandwiches and his cornflakes. Yeah, so this part will continue with building up, putting the handrails in place. So on 73 we need C72, which is a handrail which I saw what screw cutters. And I dropped it. Now that is a very intelligent thing to do, James. I have to find my glasses now. I'll pause it there because I can't see it. Right, after about 5 minutes of crawling around on the floor, I found the part. It was stuck to my knee. That's my left knee. So I couldn't feel it. Hey ho, but never mind. It's usually as you think, oh, well, what can I do to replace that? Oh, I've got any wire that thickness. I think I've got some 1mm wire, brass wire somewhere in my railway stores. Right, so that's the door, the grab rail made. So just to know, the 1mm holes tend to be a little bit on the tight side for this. So you got to, there we go, melt it with some glue and get the handrail in. And then just smooth around the seam on that handrail, like so. To do that. So that's one handrail in. Grab rail. Yes, and I just touched it after I put bloody glue on it, idiot. Don't do that. And then we'll get the C sprue again for the C7 sprue. Fortunately, this one has a drilled hole, so, and we've just got to cut the knob off. And that's ready to be glued up there. Plonk the glue in there. And of course, got to do a little bit of flash at either end. It's all right. The glue has to soften up here a bit. And get that into place like that. So that was sitting there like that. There we go. So that's set 73 complete. Obviously 74 is putting the glazing in, which I won't worry about now because I want to paint it first. Now step 75 is the type of aerial mount we fit. So I've got to look back on I've got to scroll back on the instructions and have a look at when I fitted the radio, because it states it there. Uses part E6. So we've got to use E6 for this radio here. So put her up on, lean her up there, and E-spruce, quite easy, it's quite a small spruce. And then we've got to look on there, that's what's E6. E6 is this one. Okay. And of course, what we're going to have to do is open up the hole. Quick and easy to open up the second one as well while I'm at it. And as you can see, there's a lot of little holes here that are all blank top. We have not crested drilling off, so these are for different versions. Put a little bit of glue in there. And get the aerial in place. And that's it for that. Clip it in. And now it will be A6. That's 75 done. And then we've got to go to 76, which is, we've got to fit A6, which is on this sprue that's sitting over here, because it's we have some Mr. Surfacer drying in the sprues for the hatches. And my Mr. Surfacer was very fresh, not as warm as it has been, so it'll take quite a while to dry. Clean the sprue gates off there. And tiny little teensy bits of flash off there. So put the little spoiler on. Nice little line up of the slots for the hatches. And what I'm going to do is take the roof off now, because we'll have to put her on her head for 77. This part we need, so I'll prop this part. I'll put this part up here. And we sit it down there, and then we're going to flip this over like so on step 77, which is fitting all these greebles on there. So a tow hook, I think that's a bump bar, and some towing, well, allegedly towing eyes. Yes, you can drill them out, but that's your choice. If you want to make the work for yourself, then go for it. Obviously, we'll pull the tow hook off first because it's hanging off. So that's the tow hook, and that's this greeble here. That's one towing eye. That's two trimmed off. Then of course we've got to clear the multitude of these little ejector pins off. Sand that down. Sprue get on there, so that's easy. And then we've got to open these holes up slightly here. Which could have been a little bit awkward if it snapped. So I'm using Nigel's favourite drills. Get a bit of glue in the hole so it acts as lubricant. Get the fiddly bit in there, and there we go. And just get some glue in that, like so. Then get some glue in there for the tow hook. There we go. Nope. A little bit too tight. Let the glue do a little bit more, let it sit there and do a little bit more work. So obviously, looking at these parts, they've got a lot of different variations planned of it. Again, I forgot to put some Mr. Surfacer in that, but I'll do that later. So now, I have the towing eyes. Get the little location lugs in there. And then put the glue there and there. I'll leave those to dry with those nibs on, then I'll cut those off, as you've seen me do many a time with these parts, and clean up the ends. We'll let them dry down on this, sit here and dry. And of course we want to do 78, which is to put the handles on here. So I'll pause that there because I know they need some clean up. So I'll pause that there and come back in a sec. Right. So obviously you've got the old handles on there. I didn't video it because obviously it'd be like watching paint dry. Obviously got the tools in the back. Ready for that bit's ready for painting. Obviously I've got our 2 water bottles there done. So that's step 81 built completed. Step 82 will finish when this, I've got this all paint, I've got those painted, I've got all this painted in there at a later date. So you know part 4 is coming. So turning the page, we've got to build the old splash plate for the when it goes in the water. So we've got to choose 83A or 83B. Now I'm sort of humming and hawing, probably I'm going to do 83A due to the fact I've got a short shot on, I think it's C17. So yeah, driving stowed positions, open position for stowing. So it looks like that. Okay. Unfortunately, this part we're going to have to, the next part we're going to have to delay because the parts aren't dry yet. Oh, then we've got the panels to put on. That's quite interesting. So let's put her out of the way for now. I'll let all those dry. Put the roof bits back on. Nice click. I'll put those in the box. And you'll sit this. I haven't got any room over there. I'll sit her off to the side here. Makes sense. And then we want C45, which is that part there. Again, I'll say it again, it has ejector pins, they're on the back, you can't see them. So she'll sit somewhere down like this. So obviously we can't fit this in place until the glazing is in. But I can test fit it in place and get it square. Hi. Hi, how are you? All right. Was there any distance that was about that? That was Mum's carer. Carer came here to ask me some questions, so, and I forgot to pause it. So obviously there'll be quite a jump in it, or the editing will be rather clumsy. So obviously, I say we've got to clean off the a bit of a sprue gate. Now this is rather fiddly. Where is it? There it is. Oh, there we go. Just check this in these holes. Yeah, no, we can't fit that in there. Ordinarily, I'd use a broach to open up the holes on this side. There we go. They should fit in there now. And they do. Right. So C16 goes in one of these slots. Goes in that slot there. Obviously it goes in at in theory like that. Yeah, I think it goes in that side. Ah, yes, it goes in that side, you idiot. That's one side of the what's it mast made up there. I'll get the other one off, which should be fairly straightforward. Get C14 off there, and C1 off there. There we go. Clean off the ejector pin on that side. Hopefully then plonk it in there. Reactivate the glue. Oops. So in theory, this is where it all goes horribly wrong, because TPG hasn't allowed this to dry for long enough to allow it to be square. Now unfortunately on one side it is buckled slightly. Oops! Dropped it. Again, idiot. This is like a bloody mini art kit. Sorry to say, but curse it. But right, I'm going to pause it there. Let this all dry, and then we'll come back to you, guys. And we're back. Yeah, nothing more satisfying than removing a sprue, part of a sprue, and it's nearly finished. But I'll just point out those bits we're going to worry about fitting them after it's painted, because those bits will get pinged off, the mirrors and the lights. Okay, so what I'll just show you is the wheels. So I built up the panels for the side, and yes, you can just sit them in, balance them in there like that. Yeah, that side's committed suicide, but never mind. And that one has, and the back one goes on like that. Because we got to paint this, shock horror, and also the I'll show you those bits in there. Yeah, you get the idea. So I've got the roof hatches still drying with Mr. Surfacer in them. I flooded them with Mr. Surfacer. Hopefully it won't show up too much of the sink in the A sprue. Got 4 of the wheels done. I'll just show how to do the 5th. So to get the undergate off, go with the sprue cutters, push them down hard and get that part out. A few swipes of the sanding stick there on that side. Put the hub in that way round, very important, because we want the Goodyear on the right, on the front. So here's the Goodyear. Again, up tight, clip, up tight, clip. You need good sprue cutters for that. Okay. Again, notice a little bit of sink in the wheel there, but never mind. And obviously we've got to clip that together. Run it around with glue. Like that. And then pop it together like that. Squeeze. There we go. Obviously it spins on the hub, which is doesn't really matter. Again, boom, boom, and drop my sprue cutters. That bit I'll do off screen. Find the sanding stick. Put the hub in that way. Let it flow around the seam. And then pop the wheel together. Then hopefully the Goodyear is on that side, otherwise it's embarrassing. I just let them dry. Obviously I press fitted this in to allow it to dry in the right place, which I hope it has. Why am I dropping things? I must be getting tired. Never mind. Yeah. So yeah, I think that's as far as we can go in part 3. So effectively we're up to 91. So that's 91 from 70, 72 to 91. Because technically those, yeah, because it's the wheel, I could fit the wheels at this point. Because most of the parts, I haven't got my fingers ready. Nope, I can't. Whoops. It falls on its wheels, never mind. With the wheels fall off. The wheels fall off the stolly, never mind. So, that's me done for this part. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and bye for now.